Welcome to the Monday Kickoff. Hope you guys are having an amazing day and welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. In today's video, guys, as usual, we're going to have a full breakdown of all of the events coming to Raid Shadow Legends this week, what to expect, what we need to make sure that we are doing, considering that we have everyone's favorite game mode starting tomorrow. And of course, we're going to discuss about the summoning events that will start tomorrow too. Now, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure you smash a like, subscribe to the channel, and do me a solid, man. Drop a comment, help with that YouTube algorithm. I really appreciate it. Quickly, to give you a reminder before we dive into the events and everything else, make sure you guys are completing your clan quests if you haven't done it yet. Seems like I still need to pick one more and make sure I'm doing a Hydra run today. And probably, if we have anything juicy in here selected, there we go. If you gotta purchase anything from the clan shop, guys, we don't really have tons of goodies this time around, but either way, keep an eye on it. Same thing goes for the bazaar. Now, this resets differently for every single person. Make sure you guys purchase the goodies from here. My next thing on the list is that freaking void shard just looking at me. And I've just seen that I have like a million misery shards. Let me just pick them up as well. And let's dive straight into the main topic. The fusion is coming to an end, guys. We have 3 days left to do it. I have the epic champions more or less prepared. I will wait for the CVC to level them up and then fuse the champion, gain 30k points in the process. That's what I mentioned at the beginning. We need to be aware of what we should do. Of course, it's not mandatory. This CVC does not have a personal rewards thingy going on at the moment, so it's just the regular one. It doesn't really matter how much you're scoring, but of course it will depend for the rest, if your clan wins or it doesn't, okay? Leaving all that on the side, we do have the gear enhancement event that is coming to an end as well in a day. We have a dungeon diver event that will end tomorrow, and we do have some tournaments going on at the moment, like the Fire Night, the Classic Arena, and we have a new Kurosa's Conquest tournament starting tomorrow. I haven't seen any Sand Devil's Necropolis or anything like that starting. It seems like the Kurosa will reward us with a summon for the Force Soul summoning pool that started today. Now, this does have quite a few good champions in the menu right here. Personally, I am not really interested in any of them too much, like getting their soul and stuff. We have Glacier, which is great. Freya, Eos Street, Nishak, Gwendolyn, Harima, Koragar, Pythian, Uko, etc. Weakspell, Ultimate Death Knight, Whittier, Staltus. They're all pretty good, but I never really buy these things because, yeah, I just don't feel too lucky with them. For my surprise, we do not have a 2x on Soulstones, so most likely it's going to happen next week at some point. It's crazy how many Soulstones I was able to save without spending a penny on them. So I'm already at 35 Immortal Soulstones. This is definitely the highest amount of Immortal Soulstones I've collected without actually purchasing any of them. A lot of them came from events, tournaments, of course the Curse City and my Essence. I did open around 140 or something of the Mortal Soulstones before during the 2x, so I was able to purchase a few more of the medium ones. But honestly, I'm looking pretty good, and I'm definitely pretty excited for the next 2x because, hey, I do have a good chunk of Soulstones. Hopefully, the wishlist will freaking proc. Leaving all that on the side, guys, if we're quickly going to have a look at the Play and Play calendar, nothing interesting appears here. I'm not sure if they will do a hero pair event to get a soul for Titus. I think it's very unlikely. Maybe they will. Maybe they will surprise us. The main thing is start saving your resources and stuff like Sacred Shard, Void Shards, Primal Shards, because some new events will be coming pretty damn soon. Most likely next week. I don't think we're going to have anything too crazy going on this week. Considering that the fusion is coming to an end, I think in the next 1 week and a half, they will announce the next fusion, most likely. So definitely stay tuned for that. Considering the quality of Titus, I'm not really expecting to have a crazy fusion coming after. But once again, they might surprise us and bring in another OP champion. And people will be like, damn, I can't skip this one either. People are more likely to open their wallets like that, I think. Either way, let's quickly talk about the summoning events, guys. Because honestly, it's not a very eventful week. We don't really have an update coming. At least we're not expecting one. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Fusion coming to an end. You know, we usually have a slower week, especially if they're not doing a hero path or a deck of fate to give us the soul for the champion, and they don't really do deck of fates for that. Talking about the summoning events, I will quickly put the list on the screen right here. Feel free to pause, have a look at it, but we're quickly gonna go over the champions. We have some pretty decent champions, to be honest with you guys. So let's start with the first one. We have Osgren the Defiler. That is the new champion. I really do not remember the faction, so probably I'm gonna have to do a bit of a research to quickly try and find him, because I do not remember his freaking faction. There we go, Osgren. How I don't remember his faction when I made a video on him and I said that I want this champion because he's freaking OP. Actually, a really, really good champion. You have the buff strip, the stun, the thermometer, the ally attack, the increase attack, the shatter that boosts the damage for champions that ignore defense. Very good passive effect as well. The A1 pretty good too. Really nice champion. I actually released a guide on him recently. Feel free to check it out. This is definitely a champion that I would love to summon. Now, I'm not going to summon during these 15x because I don't have many shards, and even though I want to get a champion, my chances are pretty damn low to get him. So I'm just going to focus on something else and continue to save my resources. But he's a very, very good champion. For PvP, you want to build him with Stone Skin, accuracy, speed, you know. For PvE, you don't need the Stone Skin. You can go with tons of different gear sets. Pinpoint works really well on him as well because of the stun, right? But a very, very good control ally attack champion. Then we have First Axe Tusker. If I remember it correctly, he is an orc. I might be wrong, and he might not be a freaking orc. Man, so many new champions that were added to the game is honestly so damn hard. So damn hard to remember them all and where they come from. What's their faction? Ogren Tribes, okay. I can't really remember what he does. I know he is not a brand new champion or anything like that, but considering that I don't remember that, probably he doesn't do that much. Extra chance to grant an extra turn, a double hitter, AoE attack, the damage inflicted by the skill increases by 10 for each buff on the champion, decreases the cooldown of this skill by 1 turn if this attack kills an enemy, and if it kills 2 enemies, grants an extra turn. Single target hit, a double hit before attacking, increase attack and increase crit damage, and will ignore shields, and grants an extra turn if it kills an enemy. And the passive, each extra turn this champion gets increases their crit damage, and the damage decreases the damage they receive. It's all about multipliers on the champion, right? So he's definitely looking like he's meant to be a damage dealer. He might be very good for faction wars. He doesn't really look like a good champion for PvP. The current meta is really punishing if you're not ignoring Stone Skin, some of the crazy buffs that we are encountering. And while shield is still a good buff, and a lot of champions use shields nowadays, it's just not enough in my opinion. So he's more kind of like a progression PvP champion or PvE. Stone Skin, that's what you want to... Stone Skin. Savage, Lethal, Merciless, those are the gear sets that you want to get on him. Now, because he is conditional to kill, that doesn't really make him great versus some of the bosses in the game. Then we have Duchess Lilitu, still a very, very powerful champion. One of the best revivers in the game, in my opinion, because of everything that she brings with the revive. The 70% HP, the veil, the continuous heals, then everything else that she does. I have 2 of them built. One of them is in protection, which I'm using in Hydra, and the other one is basically just built with very high resistance for Arena. Even though I'm not really using her much in Arena, you can definitely try all type of builds on her, even Relentless, even Regen if you want. You have quite a few options on the table, but it really depends what you are planning to do with the champion. She's still one of the GOATs though. Then, moving on to the next one, we have Glaycat. It's kind of like a better version of Duchess, in my opinion, because of the passive that actually boosts the damage. You have a freeze on the A1, you have increased attack, perfect veil, thermometer, and you have the revive. The revive is not as strong, but it doesn't matter because the passive is what basically makes it better. Dealing that additional damage is really, really good. Speed Aura, you want to build him either on a 9-piece protection, because that is kind of like one of the best things for him, just to get additional buffs, boost the damage a bit more, and yeah, that is the best build I could recommend you for him. If you're not at that level and you're still progressing, a bolster set plus something else works as well, you know, just to basically have him alive. Even a regen set can work on him. Then we have Ewa Street Dream Song. Still a very good champion. She was a fusion, a speed aura for arena. You have the sleep, you have the decreased speed and the weaken, the turn meter manipulation, increased speed, increased attack, turn meter, the passive with the healing. Good for arena, good for Doom Tower, good for dungeons, good for Hydra, good for Chimera if you don't have a Necotar and stuff like that. Overall, a pretty good champion. Now, you can build her if you want, even with protection. You can build her with a different set, like the set for from the Siege mode, for example, right? The Feral, so you're getting some additional damage, Relentless, Impulse, Reflex. You have quite a few options on the table for her. Speed and accuracy being the main thing that you want to focus on. Then we have the Queen of Hearts, a champion that I definitely want to get. And yeah, very, very nice with the skill right here and the passive. The passive is pretty damn nasty because it just counts all of the buffs. If you start a fight and you have Stone Skin on you, she counts it towards the passive. It doesn't matter if it's a buff that just got placed by a skill or is starting from the beginning of the fight, like a shield set, etc. Which is definitely nasty because she takes a turn, strips the buffs, Dead Brand, the fear, the turn meter manipulation, and then bang, she can actually do her ally attack. Stone Skin, you can definitely run pinpoint on her to make sure she's not getting the polymorph. Or you can go with different sets, PvE wise, Relentless, and all that actually works really, really good too. She's not necessarily the best PvE ally attack champion, right? But she's still doing the job, especially if you're missing the other ones. Then we have Shuzan, the Valorous, still a freaking goat. PvP, PvE, not as much, but in Faction Wars, she actually was pretty damn good in my opinion. You can definitely still run her in Hydra, depending on what teams you're running. But other than that, she's more of a PvP champion. This instant turn skill is crazy, crazy good. I have mine built on speed and supersonic. And that's mainly because that allows me to get the highest speed on her without breaking any of my other champions. And she's crazy good now in PvE versus the event dungeon, right? If you have Siegfried, Wukong, champions like that. But overall, really good with the decreased speed, the increased speed, turn meter manipulation, block active skills. You want to have tons of speed and accuracy on her. Set-wise, doesn't really matter. Pinpoint can do the job as well. Speed, perception, you guys name it. Then we have Raka, another champion that I would love to pull, to be honest. Wait, I clicked on the wrong faction. I have a 6-star soul for her, right? It's just waiting and waiting and waiting. Speed aura for all battles. You have a bit of a healing. You have increased attack, shield, a cleanse. No immunity there, unfortunately, because the immunity comes with a revive, which, in my opinion, sucks. I would have preferred her to have the immunity there and the shield on this skill instead. It would have been much, much better. But hey, still very good with the passive, with the turn meter. If you're running her in PvE, she's good for Chimera, especially because of the turn meter manipulation. Relentless is what you want to get on her. This will be down to a 1-turn cooldown. The more turns she takes, the more turn meter she's going to give to your teammates, right? She's good for Siege mode, good for Faction Wars, of course, all of this content. But for the Siege, of course, you're going to want to have a PvP build rather than a PvE. Then on Wednesday, guys, again, we're going to have another 15x chance. You know the drill. We're going to have Amoch, the first satrap. Now, I have no clue who the heck is this champion. So once again, we're going to go and look for the champion, because this most likely is one of the very new ones. And honestly, I really do not remember his faction. It might be the Demon Spawn. No, not the Demon Spawn. The Lizardman, right? No. Yeah, it's the Lizardman. Okay, the support. So, it's pretty hard to highlight, to showcase support champions, guys, because they support the team. Unlike the damage dealers, you can actually showcase things with them, right? He has pretty good base stats. His speed is pretty low, though. So attacks an enemy, has a chance to steal a random buff from the target. Also has a chance to place Leech. Attacks an enemy, has a chance to put decreased resistance debuff and a pain link debuff. And a 30% decrease speed debuff for 2 turns, and these debuffs are protected when placed on bosses. So he's kind of like a champion aimed at helping most likely with the Chimera and the Trials in there, because he does bring a lot of important things, especially for the Lion form, right? You're getting some healing from there, and here, immunity on all team, heals all allies, removes any debuff from all allies negatively affecting stats. So everything that's basically not a crowd control, okay? That's good. It's definitely not a bad thing. You cannot dodge the crowd control debuffs, unfortunately, with him. But other than that, is actually pretty damn good. So very good for the Chimera with everything that he has in the kit. The Leech and everything else that he brings. And increases this champion's max HP by 10%. Whenever this champion heals themselves using a skill, stacking up to 50%. The higher the HP, the higher the heal, okay? Because it's based off his HP. Overall, a pretty nice champion. Once again, I would probably build him in Relentless, so I can rotate his freaking skills very often with Impulse, Refresh accessories. Even Feral could potentially work, but then you're not really rotating his skills as often. Moving on to the next one, we have... Whoa. What is it? It just dropped like a damn new message in here, and honestly... No, they deleted my message. They deleted my message, so it means that they've got something wrong. Some champions on the list will probably be long, so... wrong, sorry, not long. I was gonna say, if hopefully we don't have to wait too long, but some of the champions will 1000% be wrong, because they've just deleted the entire message. So I'm gonna stay in here for another minute and see what's happening. If it takes too long, I might have to pause the video and come back at it. But in the meantime, grab your coffee. There we go. Okay, let's see what happened. I'm not seeing the changes. I'm not seeing the changes just yet. So I guess maybe something on the second list. Let me just quickly check. Glaycat, Elf Street, Karen the Harvester, Necotar. Was Necotar twice on the list. Okay, that's what happened. I thought that was something a bit more serious. I've just realized Necotar is twice in there. Okay, let's move on to the next one. This was a fusion champion, if I remember it correctly. I think I still need to summon him. Either way, defense-based champion, chance to land hacks and places increased crit damage on the champion for 2 turns. A defense-based champion, as I've mentioned. Attacks an enemy twice, has a chance to repeat the attack. And when this champion counterattacks or teams up with allies to join an attack, will use this skill instead of their default skill. The damage inflicted by the skill increases by 10 each time an ally is devoured. So it's kind of like aimed towards Hydra. AoE attack with a chance to land decreased speed and weaken. If the target is under hacks, places these debuffs before attacking. So no weak hits or anything like that. And will ignore life barrier and ally protection. Overall, he's a decentish champion progression-wise. He's not really like a champion that will absolutely change your game or anything like that. Seems like maybe I skipped the fusion, or maybe he was not a fusion and I just remembered that wrong. But he's an okay champion. I definitely remember trying him out on the test server. Then we have Karen. Karen is, I think he is a lizard. Yep. So we have Karen the Harvester, another support unit. You have decreased speed, Thermiter manipulation, AoE attack, puts all of the target skills on cooldown and has a chance to decrease the thermiter of enemies that are under sleep. I'm not a fan of sleep as a debuff, okay? And that's why I'm not a fan of this champion. He just puts sleep. I don't know. Maybe some of you guys have him. You tried him. You love him. Personally, I do not find sleep very effective. Very easy to remove the debuff from the enemies, to wake them up, and then his entire kit becomes a bit irrelevant, right? It's basically a champion that I would not love to pull, and I would not recommend anyone to invest books in him and stuff. Now, you could use him for faction wars if needed, but once again, I I'm sure you will find better options. And there could be better epics in the game that could potentially help you. Like, take a Venomage in there instead, right? Or take a Quarkan instead. And you might be getting better value overall from your team. Then we have Necotar. Absolutely freaking insane. Chimera, Hydra, just such a freaking goat. AoE decrease attack, decrease speed leech, increase speed Thermitor, the passive, the speed aura. I have two builds for my Necotar. One of them is basically Affinity Breaker to counter the strong affinity in the Chimera. And second, Relentless and Impulse with Refresh accessories. When I'm using that build, he is just mental in the Chimera. Like, he's giving so much Thermitor to the team is just absolutely nuts, guys. I can now recommend you the champion more. This is a champion that if I wouldn't have, I would pull for right now, personally, right? Then, moving on to the next one, guys. We have Morane. Morane is the queen of heal reduction. She has a crazy good passive. The best heal reduction champion in the game for MES. When she's available on the rotation, of course. Then you have Thermitor boost, increased speed, steals buffs through fear, decrease accuracy, and decrease speed. Speed aura for all battles. You can use her in PvP as well as a Thermitor booster, but more kind of like a progression PvP. I'm not talking about the crazy meta and game stuff. Definitely not bad. Pretty good base speed as well. And good in Faction Wars. I actually used her today in Faction Wars to beat stage 20 on the Undead. Because not letting them heal was extremely, extremely annoying. I think I got myself a few gray hairs trying to do that stage. But hey, Morane got the job done in the end. Then we have Pay Detail Crest, another lizard. Seems like we have quite a few lizards on this event. Really solid champion. Chimera, Hydra, most likely Faction Wars as well. The heal, the Thermitor, the AoE attack, removes all buffs from all enemies, block buffs, decrease speed, more Thermitor manipulation, increased resistance, perfect veil, decreases the cooldowns of skills. Now, Impulse, Reflex, Refresh accessories, Masteries will not decrease the cooldown of the skill. So the best build, Relentless, period. But a very, very good champion that, once again, I would love to get. I'm not summoning for him during 15x events, and that's mainly because he would not really replace any of the champions in any of my teams as it is. I could definitely have a lot of fun with him and test him out and play around, but I don't think he would improve any of my teams at the moment because it's pretty hard to fit him in any of the teams that I have at the moment. He's basically going to break some of my trials and stuff, so that's why I wouldn't do it, but he would definitely boost my damage rather than trials, you know. Then, moving on to the next one, we have Himon. Himon still good, man, like live arena and all that stuff, especially when people are now running Stone Skin. This is still a very, very strong skill. You do want to have him fully built for damage. Merciless, preferably, with a Cat's Gaze, with a 6-star blessing that deals additional damage versus Stone Skin. And you are going to smack a lot of noobs in arena with him, right? I have been saying it since live arena that Himon is good. And I have been using him since the freaking live arena came out. And now with Pinpoint and all of the other sets, and all of the changes to blessings, the relics, a lot of people are using him. So now he is kind of like more established into the meta. A very good champion. Then we have Supreme Gallic. And yeah, this is one of the champions that annoyed me in the Faction Wars with the Undead. I don't know why, bro, but bros and sisters, okay? This freaking Aragas is so broken in Faction Wars on stage 20, or whatever freaking stage we're gonna have with him. He's just absolutely almost impossible to kill, you know? And he deals so much damage. And always using the same freaking skill. I hate him in there. Just kind of like on the side. Supreme Gallic, good for Hydra, good for Faction Wars, good for dungeons. You have the block buffs, you have the decreased speed, the HP burn, the activation, the passive. I have mine built on Relentless and Cruel. Now you want to prioritize some accuracy on him because you need it. He can deal decent damage. Now do not expect his multipliers to be crazy and be like, okay, I'm gonna put him in Savage or Merciless, he's going to destroy everything, but he's still going to do pretty good damage. That is pretty much everything that we have for this weekly kickoff, guys. As usual, appreciate all of you guys watching. Much love, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.